Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. In his first reaction to Tirupati Laddu Rao, AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi has sought to draw an equivalence between what the centre intends to do with the Waqf board composition and adulteration in Prasad. Owaisi has said that just like it is unacceptable for animal fat to be found in Prasad, it's also objectionable to try and add non-Muslim members to the Waqf boards. This is one of the proposals in the amendment bill being discussed by the JPC currently.
हमारा बोलना ये है कि जब प्रसाद में वो एनिमल फैट प्रोहिबिटेड है, भाई मेरे वक्फ बोर्ड में आप क्यों पीछे पड़े? मेरे वक्फ बोर्ड में क्यों पीछे पड़े आप? ये तो मेरे भी धर्म का मामला है ना। आप हमारे हिंदू धर्म का प्रसाद है, हम उसका रिस्पेक्ट करते। हम ये बोल रहे हैं कि जो प्रसाद के बारे में सब बात कर रहे हैं, भाई आप वक्फ बोर्ड में देखो क्या करना चाह रही है सरकार। आप पूरा स्टेट वक्फ बोर्ड में नॉन मुस्लिम को लाना चाह रहे हैं।
BJP has accused the MIM chief of comparing apples to oranges. The ruling party at the centre has blamed him for drawing faulty analogies to prove his point.
Asaduddin Owaisi is so frustrated that he'll go to any extent, and today he's comparing apples with oranges. He has the audacity to compare the Tirupati Laddu and the adulteration of the laddus with lard, with hig lard, etc. That issue with the fact of why Waqf bill is being amended and how can you allow non-Muslims to head it. This mafia has to stop and stop comparing one issue, one religious issue with another.
Meanwhile, BJP leader Nishikant Dubey, who's also a member of the JPC of the Waqf, has flagged concerns over the nearly 1.25 crore feedback submissions received by the Parliamentary Committee. He's called for a probe into their sources, including in the possible role of Pakistan's ISI, China and Zakir Naik. In a letter written to the committee's chairperson Jagdambika Pal, Dubey says this investigation must cover the possible roles of fundamentalist organizations. As I said earlier, individuals like Zakir Naik, foreign powers like ISI and China, as well as their proxies, have been named in that letter.
कम से कम सरकार को पूरे फैक्ट्स के साथ अपनी बात रखनी चाहिए। प्रोबेबिलिटी नहीं दिखानी चाहिए कि नहीं ये भी हो सकता है, ये भी हो सकता है। तो क्या आप वहां पे मक्खी मारने के लिए सांसद बने बैठे हो क्या? और ये जो रोजाना आप फंडिंग की बात करते हो, फंडिंग तो बहुत सारी चीजों के लिए भारत में आती है। हर धर्म के लोगों के लिए फंडिंग आती है। तो क्या करोगे? अयोध्या में भी पैसा आता है बाहर से, उसका इस्तेमाल बीजेपी चुनाव के लिए कर लेती, भ्रष्टाचार के लिए कर लेती है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us for more on this, we have a guest, Pradeep Bhandari, national spokesperson of BJP. Ishkaran Bhandari, who's an advocate in the Supreme Court, is with us. Also with us is Professor Jyotsna Tirunagiri, who's a national spokesperson of the TDP. We also have with us Asif Sohail, political analyst. We also have Advocate Talha Rashadi, who's a spokesperson of the Rashtriya Ulema Council. But I want to go first and foremost to Haji Mehruddin Ragrez, spokesperson of AIMIM Delhi. Haji Mehruddin Ragrez, सवाल ये है कि जो घी की अडल्ट्रेशन है उसकी तुलना वक्फ बोर्ड से करना कितना उचित है और क्यों किया जा रहा है?
देखिए, सरकार लगातार ऐसे बिल लेकर आ रही है जो मुसलमानों को टारगेट करने के बिल हैं। और पहले सरकार एनआरसी लेकर आई जिससे नागरिकता छीनी जा रही थी। अब जो है वो वक्फ का जो अमेंडमेंट बिल लेकर आई, सब वक्फ की संपत्तियों को छीनना चाहती है। जिस तरीके से लगातार रेलवे की जगह हो या अपने प्लेटफॉर्म हो, सब चीज़ों को सारी चीज ये देखिए, सबसे बड़ी बात कि लाल किला तक जो है बेच दिया। और इस तरीके का ये वक्फ की संपत्तियों को भी उसी धारा में लाकर और उसको बेचना चाहते हैं मुसलमानों से, जो उनके वक्फ करीबी जगह है, जो सारे मुसलमान। जी,
लाल किला को बेच दिया,
बिल्कुल बेच दिया, प्राइवेट कर दिया उसको सब। अब तो ये है कि सब प्राइवेटाइजेशन करना चाहते हैं वक्फ की संपत्तियों को भी, जैसे जो है। और मैं तो एक बहुत बड़ा जो है आरोप लगा रहा हूं कि 2 मंदिरों के पास साउथ में इससे 3 गुना ज्यादा जमीन है, जो ये फेक नैरेटिव और प्रोपेगेंडा फैलाया जा रहा कि 9 लाख करोड़ जो है संपत्ति वक्फ के पास है, उससे ज्यादा तो दो मंदिरों के पास है।
कौन से
कोई सवाल नहीं पूछ रहा, उन पर तो कोई सवाल नहीं पूछता।
कौन से मंदिर हैं?
मुसलमान की अगर संपत्ति वक्फ है और जो अल्लाह के नाम से संपत्ति है, उस पर सब विवाद खड़ा करना चाह रहे हैं, बार बार मुसलमानों को टारगेट करना।
सर लेकिन रिफॉर्म की तो जरूरत है, क्योंकि 10% ये जो एटलीस्ट 10% नहीं, मैं कहूंगा 25% जो कंप्लेंट्स है, 40,000 में से 10% कंप्लेंट्स तो कम्युनिटी के अंदर से है। तो रिफॉर्म की जरूरत पर तो कम से कम इस पे तो कोई डिबेट नहीं है, लेकिन किस तरह का रिफॉर्म चाहिए इस पे जरूर डिबेट हो सकती है। बट सिंस यू आर रेजिंग टारगेटेड क्वेश्चंस ऑन Pradeep, on the BJP, let me get him Pradeep Bhandari. Pradeep Bhandari, respond to the questions, because he has raised several points. He's saying that there are bills being brought in which are specifically targeting the Muslim community. A. B. He levels a charge that there are 2 temples in south of India who have more property than the Waqf board, and therefore the apprehensions are misplaced. Please respond to both the points being made by my spokesperson.
Madhav, good evening to your viewers. Madhav, let me just quote basic facts. The fact is that after railways and after defense and railways, the maximum land which is, I have, can you correct the foldback please, because I'm just, my voice is coming back in my ears.
We'll fix that. We'll fix that in just a minute. I'm requesting my technical team to fix that.
Yes, thank you. So, Madhav, the basic fact and premise is this, that in this country, Waqf has nothing to do with a religious affair. It is to do with an issues of illegal land grabbing. And the fact is very clear that we've received multiple Muslim institutions, who said that it is extremely important to reform the entire structure of Waqf. So the government has not acted unilaterally, and in order to take multiple opinions, it has gone to JPC. So to say that the government is trying to take away the lands of the Muslim community is wrong. Point number 2, that section 40 of the Waqf Act is absolutely unconstitutional because it allows the Waqf to stake claim on any land which it thinks is a Waqf land. Now this is against the principles of natural justice, which was also against the premise of the earlier Waqf Act, which was the 1954 Act. That is point number 2. The gentleman from the AIMIM could not name the temples, so this is a very baseless allegation which he said that 3 temples have more land than the entire Waqf as of right now. It's baseless. Everybody knows in this country that after defense and railways, the maximum land is with Waqf. That is point number 3. Point number 4, Madhav, the issue is larger. The issue is that you have an anti-India element like Zakir Naik, who has asked his supporters to file opinions on Waqf. We suspect, this is what Mr. Nishikant Dubey has said, that there should be an inquiry which should be ordered, that are there further elements who are involved, who are in order to influence the parliamentary committee. I believe an investigation is valid. It is not usurping any part. Point number 4, he spoke about rights being taken away of the Muslims. He has not quoted a single fact. So yes, Mr. Owaisi's agenda is to consolidate the Muslim vote, but the fact of the matter is that the entire Sachar committee to other Muslim bodies have spoken about reforms in the Waqf board. This is what this government intends to do after taking into consideration all the stakeholders. This is why the JPC has been constituted when the Waqf bill was tabled in the parliament.
All right. Let me bring in other panelists. Now, आसिफ सोहेल, सवाल ये उठता है कि कहीं ना कहीं अगर क्या मिस्टर ओवैसी इस तरह की स्टेटमेंट्स दे रहे हैं, और ये भी कहा गया है कि द बिल वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय सेंटर टू परमानेंटली अबॉलिश द वक्फ बोर्ड, ये भी कहीं ना कहीं फेयर मॉन्गरिंग नहीं है, क्योंकि ये फैक्चुअली दिस इज नॉट बोर्न आउट. यस, there are certain differences in the composition, there are certain differences in the practices, procedures, but to say that वक्फ को एकदम खत्म करने के लिए ये बिल लाया गया है, this is also an exaggeration, Mr. Sohail.
माधव, देखिए बिल्कुल सही है. वक्फ बोर्ड को तो ऑलरेडी जमीनात लूट कर इतने सालों से ख़त्म कर चुके हैं. जो बचे ज़मीन है, देखिए ये प्राइवेट लैंड है, ये किसी की मिल्कियत नहीं है, ये अल्लाह के नाम पे दी गई हुई जायदाद है जो मुसलमानों के डेवलपमेंट के लिए इस्तेमाल की जाती है. सब देखिए माधव, मेरा एक छोटा सा सवाल ये है कि आपकी चैनल के बोर्ड में अगर रिपब्लिक चैनल के डायरेक्टर को रखा जाएगा तो आप क्या खामोश बैठेंगे? मुझे बताइए.
चैनल का नाम ना ले,
वैसे ही
किसी और चैनल का नाम ना लिए बगैर भी आप ये उदाहरण दे सकते हैं. आई एम स्मॉल रिक्वेस्ट.
नहीं, मैं बता रहा हूं सर, मैं अरे सर मैं तो वही बोल रहा हूं ना. देखिए मेरा दूसरा सवाल ये है सर, देखिए इंडोमेंट के अंदर या मंदिरों के कमेटियों के अंदर, अच्छा ठीक है, खुल के बोल रहा हूं मैं, अयोध्या की मंदिर के अंदर क्या हमें उसके अंदर मेंबर बनाया जाएगा? हमें बताइए, आप क्यों डिस्टर्ब करने की कोशिश की जा रही है मुल्क के अंदर सुकून को?
यही कह रही है कि तिरुपति के मंदिर में भी जो लोग हिंदू नहीं है उनको जगह दिया गया था. यही तो बीजेपी कह रही है, टीडीपी भी यही कह रही है.
सर मेरी बात तो खत्म करनी दीजिए। तो सर मैं वही बोल रहा हूं ना, देखिए अगर आपको एक कम्युनिटी को डेवलप करना है तो आप उसके रिफॉर्म के लिए तरफ जाइए। उनके जायदादों को खींचने की कोशिश क्यों कर रहे हैं? आप खुलेआम चोरी कर रहे हैं। ये चोरी है, ये कोई बिल नहीं है, ये मुसलमानों की और जो अल्लाह के नाम पे जमीन दी गई है उसको जो सो चोरी करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। देखिए ये एक सारा एजेंडा इनका एक हिंदू राष्ट्र बनाने का जो एक एजेंडा है उसके तरफ कर रहे हैं। देखिए मुल्क के अंदर पहले से लोग परेशान है, नौकरी के लिए, तालीम के लिए, घरों के लिए, उसके ऊपर कोई काम नहीं करेंगे।
आइडियोलॉजिकल प्रोजेक्ट के तहत ये किया जा रहा है। Ishkaran Bhandari, is there any truth to that allegation? Because he is saying that far from reform, it's just, some kind of an ideological project to end the role or the importance of Waqf and finish its role, because this is, he says, an important part or an essential part of Islam.
It is the pot calling the kettle black. The entire Waqf Act has enacted as it stands today is an ideological project. Please, Madhav, it's a very serious issue. This is not the way. Madhav, this is not the way. Thank you. Madhav, if you can lower his feeder, this is an important issue which will affect every Indian, because we are talking about the third largest landowner in this country, and the first two are arms of the government, defense and railway. So effectively non-government, we're talking about the largest landowner. Is it the landowner with due documents, or it is landowner because it dreams it's the landowner? That is what has to be decided by the amendments to the Waqf Act. So let us please be very serious about it. Firstly, the fact. Let us see the fact as stated by Mr. Owaisi himself. Out of 1,21,000 properties, 1,12,000 do not have documents of ownership. They are by a doctrine called user. So then that raises the question, should you not be owner before you create a Waqf? Can you create a Waqf if you are not the owner? Is a law which allows you to do so a valid law? Is that law going to impinge on the rights of every other citizen of this country? Because I can sit and dream up that this is Waqf land. I can say Surat Municipal Corporation is Waqf land. I can say islands in Bet Dwarka, islands are Waqf land and file cases on it. I can say the house you stay in is Waqf land because I have the power to appoint a surveyor. I have the power to decide. I have the finality to decide because my orders are final, deemed final by an operation of law. This is the factual situation, and now I will come to the legal situation. The legal fact is, if 1954 Waqf Act can be made, if 1995 Act can be made, if 2013 amendments can be made, then what is the legal argument against the current government after JPC? Frankly, they did not need a JPC, but even if you say they have a JPC, what is the legal argument against the amendments they have the right to bring? The third aspect and the danger aspect. Mother, just step back 2-3 years ago. Remember the entire campaign of Hum Kagaz Nahi Dikhayenge. So for citizenship, you don't need to show कागज. For property, you don't need to say कागज. What tomorrow? हम election में vote करेंगे और कागज नहीं दिखाएंगे? So are we going to be a nation which will operate without documentation just because one person or one group says so and the law allows you to do so? I'll end by saying this. This is the danger we face. Whereas for a mandir, you can have ownership rights, you can have documents, but Places of Worship Act says you cannot go to court to establish your act. On the other hand, the Waqf Act says even if you don't have documents, 1989, I'll add one point, 1989, Uttar Pradesh government brought a law that automatically land can be registered as a Waqf land under revenue, certain categories of land, changed by the Yogi government. So that dichotomy cannot be allowed in a country which is a jokingly called a secular country, because it's not secular, it's ideologically completely tilted for one particular vote bank.
Okay. Advocate Tala Rashidi, I think there are some very important points that Ishkaran has covered, and he says that the current system as it is not fair, and there are certain reforms that are required to ensure that the laws are equal for people of various religions. Please respond to what Ishkaran has just stated.
Thank you, Madhav. Madhav, it's highly shameful that the official spokesperson of the BJP, the party in the government, is lying on the national TV. He said that the Waqf is the largest landowner, a private landowner, after army and railways. Now he needs to check his facts and he needs to do his homework before telling a blatant lie on the national TV. If you go through the figures and the documents, you'll find that only the Waqf has more than 9,40,000 acres of land in 32 states of the country. Whereas if you do the homework, you will see that only within 4 states, the Hindu Endowment Board has more than 10 lakh acres of land. So this lie has been exposed on this in only 4 states. If you go
which
through
4 states, which temples? Because he also cited some temples. You are citing some states. Please be specific. What are you saying specifically? I've asked for the facts. Nobody's stopping you from making an argument. But please come up with the facts.
They were speaking for 5 minutes. You never interrupted. I only exposed them, and you have this problem of interrupting me.
I'm not stopping you. Clarify your comment. That's all I'm saying.
I'm giving you the names: Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Telangana. These are the 4 states where the Hindu Endowment Board has more than 10 lakh acre of land. That proceeds the claim that is being made by BJP and the right-wing leaders that Waqf has more than 9,40,000 acres of land. So now tell them to go through their records and do the homework. I'm not going to give you each and every month the endowment board and the land registry papers here in this debate. Now the other thing, the Waqf is a private land. The Waqf is a religious practice. That's an essential part of our religion that needs to be practiced by every Muslim. Now who is going to dictate me how to give a Waqf land, how to donate a Waqf, how to do a Waqf, how to do a Waqf by user, how to do a Waqf by Allah? No one is going to dictate that to me. There's an established process. There's an established law of the land. You can put your claim on any land of anyone through the established law of the land. If I want to say that the land on which you are sitting and doing this debate of your studio that belongs to me, I can go ahead and file a judicial case. The courts will decide that. So this claim
but that's the point he's making. Isn't that the point he's making? That this is a facility that is only available to one religion, and they are saying that the legal provisions, they are saying the legal provisions were also tweaked during the UPA regime. Is that not a case?
That's what I'm telling you. Correct your facts. Being a normal citizen, forget about Waqf law. Being a normal citizen, I can make a claim on the studio that you're sitting right now through the established law of the land and say that property belongs to me.
Okay.
Go through
I want Ishkaran to respond to this. You made two very important points. I think we should clarify this. I want Ishkaran to respond to you, please. Ishkaran.
Yes. Madhav, the point made, I think the previous speaker has ignorance of facts and law both, because the point made makes it clear that Waqf that needs to be made. I, Ishkaran, can claim the land which on Madhav is sitting by going to a court of law, by going to district court or high court as the case may be, depending on what is the amount of money involved. But Waqf Act creates a parallel court system and then gives the board finality, which is a special privilege.
Let him make his point. You can respond, please. Let's not do this.
Madhav, don't interrupt. This is now, I didn't interrupt anybody. Madhav, I didn't interrupt anybody.
Yes, I'm asking Advocate Rashidi to allow you to speak. Go ahead.
Do not read and are not briefed on the law. Yeah, thank you. Madhav, when people are not briefed and do not know the law, that is why they make such blunders. For any other citizen to claim the land belonging to Madhav, he will have to go to a court of law. He will have to prove his case by documents, by title, by ownership deeds. He will not have a special board consisting of people of one particular faith, of ideology, and having government machinery being used to conduct survey, and that board passing orders which the act would make final. That is exactly the point. If anybody has a title to a land, documents to land, of course he can create Waqf. He should create Waqf if he feels so. Or if he wants to claim land, he has to go under the ordinary process of law, which every other citizen goes to court and establishes his claim. For Ayodhya, a court case had to be filed to establish it. The very fact that you don't have to go to court by a Waqf board, by a special procedure, bypassing the legal system and giving it finality is the reason you need amendment in that law.
Right, absolutely. And in fact, not only is that a question that arises out of this, but there is also a very important question. There's a parallel legal system, A, Advocate Tala Rashidi, and also B, the fact that if you call this an essential practice in Islam, then why is it that several Islamic countries like Lebanon, Turkey, Libya, Egypt, and Iraq do not have a provision for a Waqf board?
Madhav, now let me answer the previous speaker first. Now, first of all, I don't need to study law from him, someone who has graduated from the WhatsApp University. I don't need to learn law from that person. Now, the other thing is that the law
These
or
comments,
the
I will have to
Waqf Act
Answer
has
these
been,
points legally. Let's not
or
get
the Waqf
personal.
Act-
No,
yes,
nobody has made any
come
personal
on,
comments.
come on.
Let's not make
Excuse
personal
me,
comments and reduce the level of this
made a
debate. He has
personal
put
comment
certain
on my
points
law.
legally.
On
Respond to him
my
legally and
field of law.
factually,
He made
please.
a personal
This
comment
is not
on
fair, and I do not
law.
allow these
He made
personal
a
comments on my
personal
debate in
comment
any
on me.
case. Please don't do that.
This is completely biasness. He made a personal comment on me. He
Madam,
challenged my law
ignorance
degree.
of law or
I have
fact
been
is a very
introduced as an
commonly
advocate on
used
this
term.
panel. He challenged my law
It is
degree.
not a
That is the
personal
reason
attack
why
on
I have to
anybody.
do a counter. Now the other thing is that now I'm asking his question.
I did
the
not
other thing is
challenge
that
your law degree.
The Waqf Act has been enacted by the Parliament. So as the ordinary law that he was quoting has been enacted by the Parliament. If you have faith in, you cannot be choosy. You cannot be a selected. You cannot say that I believe in this law, but I don't believe in that law.
I want to
you
answer
cannot
this.
do that here. If you believe in the so-called ordinary law, you have to believe in the Waqf law too. That has been enacted by the Parliament. Now the other thing is that the Waqf never accepts someone's property. I just go ahead and I can accept your studio. There's an established process by the law, given by the law. You go ahead, you say that particular place is
Madhav.
a Waqf property. You put your claim, you make a claim. There's a tribunal established which has
Okay.
former judges.
There are many hands going up. I have to go across to several other panelists, so please bear with me here. But Advocate Tala Rashidi, if that is the case, then no law can ever be amended. If your logic applies that you have to consider only the previous laws and laws cannot be reviewed. I don't think that's the case. That's why we have a parliament. Laws are dynamic by nature, and that's what happens in every democratic system. But let me bring in Professor Jyotsna Tiruganagiri on an important point that you made. Professor Jyotsna, the argument coming in from the previous speaker is that if you look at the endowments board of various state governments, particularly several of the southern states that he has named, he says that their total land ownership is far more than the Waqf board when it comes to all over India. Is that something that's borne out by facts? As somebody who is very closely associated with this issue, Professor Jyotsna.
Madhavji, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. So the point is, I don't know why they are making such kind of statements. I'm truly clueless, because I'll tell you why. There is an issue going on in the entire country. One is linking it with communal thing. There's an actor who does that. And now comes a leader, a political leader belonging to a political party, equating it with another religion or faith. I don't know why he is doing that and why they are doing it. If that is the case, they can talk on that. Endowment board, there is a lot of, I think when they are quoting that some temples, land and all these things, I don't know what are the figures they have got, what are the numbers they have got, what is the amount of land they are talking about. But why now? Madhav, my question is, why now? When there is a very, very sensitive issue going on with regard to Tirupati, Tirumala Tirupati, why now this particular issue is being raked on, especially by Owaisi Ji? I still don't understand. What is the link between Waqf board issue and Tirupati Laddu? Tirupati Laddu issue and the entire misdoings and misdeeds in Tirupati are completely on the earlier government, which they have done strategically to just, they have done a conspiracy there. Now, what is Owaisi Ji trying to prove here? He's telling the same thing? That's his logic? Is that his logic, Madhav? What's his logic? Why is he equating this? I still don't understand what is his logic behind this. Except one thing.
Asif Sohail, जवाब दीजिए.
नहीं, I believe वो एक attention grabbing एक रहता है माधव जी. I need to grab
Madhav,
अगर मैं बाहर आके बात करूंगा तो I need to get attention.
Yeah, okay, make your point. Okay, let her conclude her point and then I come to you. Make your point, Professor Jyotsna.
See, my point is Waqf board issue, it's already in the JPC. If they have he's a parliamentarian by himself. So if they have any queries or anything, they can always represent there. They can always put forward it there. Any queries, any concerns, anything of that sort. First thing. And how is, my question remains the same, Madhav. How is Tirupati Laddu issue, Tirupati Prasada issue?
Well, we started the debate. We started the debate actually with the very same question, but I believe Tausif Ahmed Khan has not yet spoken. He's a lawyer and political analyst. Tausif Ahmed Khan, what is the relation of these two issues? What has happened as far as the adulteration of the ghee and the laddus, the prasad in Tirupati, as well as the Waqf board? And Mr. Owaisi is himself a parliamentarian. He's part of the entire legislative process. He can, of course, take action, speak out in parliament, etc. on this issue. And there's another point being made over here. clear if Mr. Owaisi is questioning the appointment of non-Muslims to the Waqf board, but there are instances, we spoke about Tirupati earlier, but also in your state of West Bengal, where the Tarakeshwar Temple's Development Board, Mr. Firad Hakim has served as the chairman. So it's not like it's something that hasn't happened in the past in this country.
In the temple, yes, he is there as a chairman because he holds the position of the mayor of the city, and not because he has, in his individual capacity, he has been brought in the board. Of course, a person like mayor or any other such people, who are in power, if you rope in them in any of the social organization, it helps to run the social organization. You see, you raised before you, Ashkaran Bandari spoke about India not being a secular country, and whoever says that this is a secular country is joking. Then Ashkaran Bandari must tender public apology, because it's the Supreme Court of India, it's all the high courts of India and all the judges who keep on repeatedly saying that India is a secular country, and this is not a joke. If Ashkaran as a lawyer takes this as a joke, he must tender apology. Secondly, why this protection, why this system in place we have for Waqf
if it's a comment on me,
it is
I
to
need to
provide
comment.
protection to the Waqf property.
Okay.
Like Ishkaran cited an example that he can go and claim ownership. Like Ishkaran was saying, that anybody can go and claim ownership of any other property, but they cannot do so for Waqf property. This is the precise reason why the entire arrangement of Waqf Act and Waqf Board was brought in place, to protect the Waqf property.
Okay, Ishkaran wants to respond. Since you've taken his name, I'm giving him 30 seconds to respond to you, please. Just 1 second, Tausif. Ishkaran.
They are meant to.
Yes. Two short points. To say that to call India a secular country is a joke is an opinion, because we are seeing how law is being enacted in this country. And we're talking about enactments of law. We were not discussing judgments of the court, which are of course secular. We're talking about special enactments being made to benefit certain vote banks. Secondly, secular was expressively not put into the original constitution, and it came in during a period to appease again a vote bank. So let us be clear on that. The other aspect, just 10 seconds, Madhav, because I want to speak on the Tirupati Laddu issue. It is a crying shame that Tirupati Laddu contamination issue has become a usual political issue. Anybody and everybody involved in it, as per me, in the contamination prima facie, there is a laboratory report of contamination, is a terrorist who should be given exemplary punishment. It is sad that after so many days, it is becoming a usual political issue.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you as well, Ishkaran, and I haven't been able to, in fact, get all the panelists as much involved as I would like to have in this debate. Only issue has been time, but I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. Pradeep Bhandari, Ishkaran Bhandari, Professor Jyotsna Tirunagiri, Asif Sohail, Advocate Tala Rashidi, Haji Mehradin Ragrez, as well as Tausif Ahmed Khan. Certainly, of course, a very important issue. I'm sure we haven't heard the last of this controversy yet, but for the moment, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on debate number 1.